not very good this time for some reason. Is anything working? Yes, no, or some technical problems. Somehow the streaming screen on YouTube is quite laggy for me, so I really have no idea what you guys say. Hello. Is this working okay, or are there interruptions or other problems in the stream? Hi. So, is this working okay or not? Are there problems? Can you hear me properly? Because I see everything laggy and very bad, but I think it's my computer because I'm running this and also a few other software and the streaming software, so it's crazy. Okay, so this is just a Q&A session if you have any questions. And if not, I might try to show you a magic trick. So, what do you want? Questions or magic trick? Okay. There might be a long delay between what I say and when you are hearing me because of this bad connection. So that's another thing that could happen now, and I might be listening here waiting for. Okay, magic trick. All right. Well, I have this deck of cards here. I don't know if you know any card magic tricks, but it's the only thing that I know how to do, some kind of card tricks. And what you have to figure out is how I'm doing it. So the thing I'm gonna try to do is a color change trick. So that's when you do this. You basically take the cards and you hide them somehow, but then when you reveal them, they are different color. Any idea how to do this? Like you hide them, and then when you reveal, they should appear to be different color. Anybody has tried to do this kind of magic tricks before? And anybody has any idea how this might be done? Let's try to see your problem solving skills in practice. Okay. And of course, there are some gimmicky cards, like things that actually change color if you rotate them at different angles. Maybe you could make the card so that you take one packet and replace it with another packet. Like I do have two different card packets here, but I didn't do a swap. At least I don't think I did a swap. Did you notice a swap? Flip the box. No. I mean, the box is just regular. It doesn't have a different color on the other side. But I do have different. So I don't know if that helps. Okay. Color correction. I don't know. Maybe there might be something to that. So color correction is if I would do something like some post processing here, like basically somehow maybe take the blue pixels and then replace them with some different color pixels, and then the end result would look green. So that's something that could be done. Or then maybe this packet is really blue, and then I just keep the real color of the packet. Maybe there is something to do with color correction, but how exactly, and why doesn't it correct everything in the screen? I mean, typically when you do hue shifting or some kind of color corrections, they mess everything up. More ideas. Aha. So sleight of hand, especially because if I have um like this lag, maybe it makes me do some very quick movement there. It's my left hand. Okay. So you think that I have something in one hand and then I cover it, and then when I reveal there is the other card. Maybe. I don't know. But let me try to show you. So now this is my left hand, and I put it here, and then it's like that. So uh, the hand is empty, and then it goes there, and then it's a different color. So how am I doing it? um, because I mean I showed you, and it's quite obvious that I'm not doing any kind of sleight of hand thing here. Also, my hands are kind of visible at all times, I think. My feet are not, but I don't know if that's so interesting. Okay, so maybe I should do these magic tricks more often. Anybody wants to give more guess attempts? Neural networks. Okay. Yeah, neural networks in the background in the self-driving car simulation. I guess they are okay. I haven't looked at this for a very long time, to be honest. And if you have questions from anything part of the course, then feel free to ask. If not, then the puzzle for today is figure out how I'm doing the magic tricks. Deck detection plus color changing. Deck detection. Okay. So basically, you think that I'm somehow doing some kind of recognizing the pattern. Like maybe this type of pattern here is recognized, and then color correction only inside of that region. It's possible, but if you think about it, like now, it should correct my finger as well, right? I mean, mm, okay, or maybe it really crops out my finger. It does finger detection as well, and then takes out that part, so it doesn't color correct my finger. It doesn't make it blue now. Uh, Close, getting close, but not exactly. 3D version of it. 3D version of this, like how exactly? Like this side, or uh, not just this side, but also this side? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. The equation. Not sure what equation you're referring to, but if you mean the activation function for the neurons, it's just a step function. So anything above the bias, it triggers it. Hello. So we are doing a combination of questions about neural networks and also magic tricks. So for those new people here, I'm trying to do some kind of magic tricks on camera. Basically, idea is that I color change this deck of cards. So I hide it like this, and then I reveal it to be different color, and you have to figure out how I'm doing this. Like, how is this possible? And it has been different colors, like blue is one of them, and then the green, and then I also try this red color, but blue is my favorite, so I'm gonna stick to this one. um, what you're missing here? Well, you're missing, I don't know, maybe my magic tricks and also questions. So this whole thing is just Q&A, and if you have any questions about any video from mine, really, not just necessarily related to self-driving cars, but anything about the course, then you can ask any of the courses. If you have questions, then this is your chance to interact with me, and also your chance to figure out how I'm doing the magic. Uh, Straight line. Oh, when I hear that, I hear like if I do mm, any soft variant for no. So I don't have any smooth activation functions, if that's what you're asking. So typically people do this like the hyperbolic tangent, or maybe this uh, what's it called, the sigmoid function. So those are curvy, but I don't apply any of those, mostly because the controls for the car are binary. So it's either you press it or not, and those are very useful if you would have the car controlled by analog controls. So maybe that you could accelerate more or less depending on how you press some pedal. So I kept it simple, and the only thing I'm doing there is just a comparison. If the neuron is stimulated above the bias, then it fires or not. So if you ask now about the equations here, then yeah, sure. I mean, if you think about the equation that is not deciding what if the neuron turns on or not, but what equation is formed by the connections here, well, this is a very high dimensional structure in this example. But in the wait, in the playground that we used in the Understanding AI course, there, okay, interesting. There you can see that there are some lines appearing there in this decision boundary plot, but that's the equation that results after one single neuron is here. So one neuron and its weight, its bias defines this y-intercept, and then the slope is defined by this weight here. So if that's what you mean by line, then yeah, there is a line there, but when you have many values, like more inputs there, another input would define a plane and so on, but the plane is still flat, so it's linear. Maybe that's what you're asking. If I prepared what in vanilla JavaScript, the self-driving car stuff? Yeah, everything in the course is vanilla JavaScript, even the tools that I used when building the playground. Or if you're asking about the magic trick, then yeah, there is some JavaScript involved in that one as well. Okay. I am doing something with my left hand before changing the color. Yes, that's true. I don't put all the code on GitHub, just those that I expect people to maybe contribute or use in a nice way. But some of the videos, like smaller projects, I don't upload them to GitHub because I think that it makes some people not follow the tutorials. So basically, if there's a link there, they just click the video, get the link from GitHub, and then they have a code that works. And then they maybe look at it a little bit and try to understand what happens. But there are many things that just people think they understand when they look at the code, and that's what the tutorial is for, to somehow go in depth into things. So some things I put on my website or on GitHub, but some smaller projects, typically I just leave them in the video form. So in that case, I really think that from the educational point of view, it's better. Yeah, okay, so I'm really getting caught here how I'm doing the magic tricks. So yeah, I am doing something with my left hand. Um, okay, thanks for watching. Um, more videos on maths or for programming. Yeah, I do have a video planned for this summer of math exposition. Uh, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if it's really easy to find. This one. So it's a math competition organized by Three Blue One Brown, and I'm gonna participate in it this time too. I think I participated in all of them. This time it's Summer of Math Exposition 3.14 something, because Summer of Math Exposition 1, 2, and 3, they were actually organized by Grant. But this one, 3 point something, it's he doesn't organize this one. It's just the community, and there are no prizes and things like that. So it's a competition kind of thing, an exposition really, where you make some math explainers. And I have one idea. I want to teach about why is math useful for coding. And I'm going to code a project, and I'm going to show how a typical coder would approach the project, but then I'm going to show how a little bit of math can make the code shorter and shorter and shorter and cleaner if you know that math. And if you don't know the math, then you're stuck with some spaghetti code that is hard to explain. So I do have some plan to teach some mathematics and to somehow explain why it's important to encoding. Because many people just say, no, it's not. I studied so much math in school and it wasn't useful. And it's also true. Like for many projects that are like click on something and then you get an action as a result, simple action, you don't really need much math. But more advanced things do need it. And then if you know some of it, you don't need to know rocket science. But if you know some of it, the code becomes simpler. It's really true in many cases. Okay. What was my thought process coming up with logic in the world creation? In the world creation. So you mean the world editor, probably. Well, of course, I had many ideas, and first I started with the like, I don't know if you know, but in the course, one of the lessons uh, teaches how to use data from OpenStreetMap, but anything really works. It was older. This one. So I had this lesson about how to use data from OpenStreetMap to create the world so that you don't do the clicking and dragging and everything yourself. And actually, that's how I started this, because I mean, my PhD was on location-based things, and I'm very familiar with these kind of things. So I started with that, but then I realized, okay, I want people to have control over these worlds they're building. And sometimes the cities that you are taking there are just boring, so they need something extra. And of course, the houses and the trees and the other things that make the world look nice, they are procedurally generated and they add something extra. But also sometimes the map itself is wrong, like the data that you have there is not perfect, so you do need some editing. And then I thought about it the other way around, like, okay, let's start with the editor and then show how to make the editor use data from some source like OpenStreetMap. So that was kind of the idea of how I made this. And then I realized that, okay, there was a problem because the OpenStreetMap data is quite difficult to explain at first. And I'm not totally happy with this, but I presented my own way of creating the graph and defining the structures. And if you remember, maybe in the first lesson about the spatial graph, like the OpenStreetMap data is much better structured. It separates the locations, and then the IDs for those locations are paired together to form those segments in between. But if I would have implemented that structure in the very beginning, it would have been very weird why for 1-2 lessons nothing happens, because, and why am I doing all those things? And I had to do this kind of compromise, like try to get something quick so that you get the feeling that the world is being created fast and I don't need to explain unnecessary things. And then somehow there was this discussion later that if you want a better structure, maybe what they have in OpenStreetMap is better. So really, I mean, coding these projects is something that takes me relatively a little bit, like maybe 10% of the time I use when coding these projects, but then 80% of the time takes figuring out how to present these in a way that is clear, and somehow the explanations are clear and it tells like a story. So that takes very much of the time, and then 10% at the end for editing. So yeah, really figuring out how to teach the thing is by far the most difficult thing to do when I come up with these courses. Okay, so thought process. You watched phase 1, so Asilbek. Okay. Watched phase 1 of self-driving cars. Huge errors. Yeah, they happen. It's normal. I do have this Discord linked on the channel, and I'm not that active on it really, but I try to check it every week. And same goes for comments that you write on YouTube. I typically check them once a week. But others also check the Discord, and if you have some kind of errors in your code, other people can help out. And nowadays, this AI stuff is really good at figuring out code. Like I have one video coming up at some point this year, but I don't know exactly when. It's this one. It will be learning how to code with AI. So there are at least 3 things that AI is really good at. Helping you learn to code, and that's like explaining code and then finding errors in the code, and that's something that links to you very much, and I will explain in this video, but I'm not sure when it's coming. Probably in the autumn or something like that. I actually have a lot of videos that are done already, but they will be published at some point this year. Some of them are scheduled, some of them are not. I'm still changing the order of these. But yeah. This one is something that you might be interested in. Then books to understand neural networks for starters. I really don't know very well to recommend books on neural networks. The main reason is that I studied neural networks like from a book. 12 years ago, 13 years ago. And since then, books have updated, and I don't want to give some advice, uh, bad advice. And I mean, after that, of course, I've been looking at neural networks, but I've been looking at research papers and things that I needed for my research. And recently, I made these courses, but these courses are more like to explain the inner workings of them in a way that is not really, I couldn't find explained in books. Of course, there are some examples where this kind of basic math, like what I showed previously with that line appearing there, uh, they are like that, but they are, let's start with a neural network, and the first input has a value of 0.2 and the second one has a value of 0.7. These are the weights, biases. Can you calculate the output? And that's something that you learn in basic, in the first times when you study about how the neural networks work. But it's boring to teach like that. So that's why I made this kind of car that interacts depending on the neural network, and then you play with those values and see how the car behaves differently. It's more fun, I think. So if you are just starting with neural networks, I recommend that you start with that Understanding AI course. So basically this video here and the next 4 lessons are, maybe 5 lessons, are about neural networks, and you really get the feeling for how they work. But of course, the power behind the neural networks is that there exist algorithms that make them automatically based on data. So that's how machine learning happens. And that's not something that I go into this course. So that's what companies typically want from you when you apply for a job with AI, an AI related job. It means that you need to already master these and know different programming languages, different libraries that operate with them. And my goal is not to teach you that. It's just to explain how and why they work in this course. So yeah. Phase 4, yeah, I will make at some point, but I'm not prioritizing it in any way. And I did find out a really good way to teach gradient descent, and that is something I've been struggling with a lot, because gradient descent is something that is typically explained in some 2D space or something with some drawings and going down the hill or whatever. But in practice, you always have many variables. Like if you think about the network here, it has already one parameter here for the weight and one parameter for the bias. So if we would optimize these based on some data, there are already 2 things. And then if the network is more complicated, like maybe, well, this is already very, very complicated. But even just this, what you have here, one weight, another weight, and a bias, you need a 3D space where to show the structure. And it's very hard to see what should be a slope and what should be a hill in this 3D space already. So actually, neural networks are a bad way to teach about this gradient descent if you want to understand how it works, because you can't visualize it unless you're happy sticking to one neuron as the network. So I found a better way of teaching this, and it's a totally different project, something I'm gonna publish maybe at the start of next year, or I don't know how I prioritize things. But I'm going to teach how to make your very own positioning system. So like do-it-yourself positioning system without using fancy equipment. So just things lying around the house. And that one I will use in a way to teach gradient descent. It's the same approach that is used to optimize the neural networks, but I'm going to use it in a 2D space in a kind of interesting way. And I think that will make the approach clearer than if I would present it in an abstract way for the networks. So phase 4 later, I will do something, and I might actually merge phase 4 with the machine learning course. I'm thinking about it. That machine learning course also needs a phase 3. I want to teach unsupervised learning in that one, and maybe also how to make an authentication system using what we learned. Okay. Writing a book. Well, I have a book. I have my PhD thesis, and let's just say I don't want to write another book. So, not really interested. I think it's this. Aha. Link doesn't work. Or no, this is just a research paper. I don't know how to find my thesis anymore. I think it's probably here. I guess this is the book, yeah. But it's more about algorithms, and actually some of the things here in this book are things that I have used to make the to make this virtual world work in this larger world. The world that I demonstrated in the course, in the video lessons, were they were smaller, and if you try to make it bigger, it's going to slow down the application. So some of these grid methods here are something that I have used to make this bigger one work. But even this one has drawbacks. Like if you try to make it even bigger, you need more techniques and more clever things, so it will work. And I wasn't interested in that because even this world here, like I barely have the patience to see the car going in this one. It's 10 minutes watching the cars here are my limit. I get bored after that. And like think about including another city that is 100 kilometers away. You just see the car going on a straight road for a very long time. And this was very, very sufficient in my case. Maybe I'm gonna make some libraries videos in the future just to show that they exist and that some of them are good. Because of course you shouldn't re-implement everything from scratch because you might make mistakes, and many libraries that have been proven to work well, they are more reliable than what you do or I do, so you should use them. But one problem with them is that many students tend to add a lot of different libraries in their project, and they come with extra stuff that you don't necessarily need, and then your project gets bloated for no reason. And part of the reason why I'm coding without libraries is so that you see that you can make even very big things from scratch, and that you can have control over how large your code base is and how big the project is. Okay. Yeah. I also use AI quite much nowadays when coding. It makes things much faster, but I do have this one video coming up. It's already out for channel members, but it's gonna come for everybody in a while. I don't know where it is. Ah, it's this one. I guess it comes out next week. So, wait, is this what I was talking about? I'm not sure. I think it might be this or this one, but it relates to your comment about having AI as a coworker. So maybe it relates more to this one. So the point I wanted to make is that it really helps you out if you know what you're doing. But if you're learning how to code, then it can mess things up quite a lot because it might not assume something correctly, or you might not be experienced enough to ask it properly what to do. Yeah, okay. Beam of light from secret location. No, no, it's not that. uh, videos on free code camp. I think I'm gonna take a break for a while because I'm not gonna do very big courses anytime soon. These videos that I'm publishing are more easier things. And this is the one I just finished for this Summer of Math exposition, but I'm still editing some things in it, and it's not yet ready. But anyway, that was about the math comment I got previously. Okay. So probably not on Free Code Camp anytime soon, but someday. Maybe the one about positioning that I told you, but it's not that interesting for Free Code Camp because many people on Free Code Camp, they want to see how to use very modern things and tech really, like libraries and the recent frameworks and things like that. And that video that I have in mind, that course, is gonna be really about mathematics, and it doesn't really fit. I'm thinking if I will put it there, but let's see. So I don't have any plan there, and these other things that I've done so far, they are a little bit more entertaining. So and you do quite much software engineering in them. It's not just about teaching maths or algorithms. So someday I will publish more, but I don't have anything in plan anytime soon. Well, the self-driving car project, it mostly focuses around the canvas element. So React wouldn't be very useful in any way there. I mean, React is useful if you're gonna make more JSX components, these HTML components. But really everything here is on the canvas, and the algorithms stay the same. And there's another canvas here for the neural network and another one for the map. There wouldn't really be a benefit of refactoring this in anime favorite character after Goku. I don't know. It's very hard to think about this right now. I haven't watched anime in a long time. Um, I think it might be I don't know. Maybe it's Vash from Trigun, or I don't know. Maybe Kenshin from this. What's it called? This one. Or this one. I don't know. Maybe these are favorite characters. Not sure. Also like Rock Lee from Naruto, but I haven't seen these in very, very long time. Okay. Card magic trick. Somehow selecting range of blue colors and then swapping with other colors. That's pretty close. It's pretty close. To make the buildings 2 or 3 stories, sure, sure, it's possible. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to do that. I actually had them with stories at some point, and I thought that was a nice idea. But in the end, I decided to give them roofs instead, and I liked that more. The buildings even had doors and windows at some point, but then I realized who watches that? Like, it's already very long of procedural generation there, and yeah, sure, you can do that. It's not difficult. I think so. Avatar with lipstick. Okay. I don't know what to say. I mean, of course you can do anything, but some things are easier or harder to do, and I don't know what would be the easiest way to build an avatar like that. Really. Then again, I do have that one video I coded in 12 hours, like this one. And that was like unedited and unscripted and on anything, and it turned out okay. Code was a mess, I think, by the end, but if you would refactor that, maybe you would spend a week to refactor that in a proper way. So it really shows how time goes for different things. And I guess you could use an avatar like that, so you could build it from scratch, but there are many things nowadays that work automatically. I just don't know what to recommend you, so sorry. Where I learned computer science, I studied in Romania first in high school. So I studied in high school computer science because my class was focusing on math and computer science. So this one here was my high school. And then after high school, I graduated 2008. Then I went to university here. This one, and I did my bachelor's, graduating 2011. Yeah, and then I went to Finland. And I was at the University of Eastern Finland for a very long time, from 2011 until 2013. That's when I got my master's, and then 2017 I got my PhD, and then I did research, and then I think 2021 I went to this other place where I'm working now. And here I just teach, so I don't do research anymore. But I'm still learning computer science all the time. Yeah, avatar, this avatar I made, sure. Okay. Oh, hi. Okay, so Carlos gifted 5 memberships. How does that work? How is it possible to gift memberships? I need to learn how these things work. I haven't been checking how YouTube works recently. Wow, interesting. Okay. So it's possible to gift memberships. I tried to do it myself, but I couldn't figure it out. Oh, Florin is also here. Hello. He also has a YouTube channel and he's working on his own platforms, projects. Florin has something about, I think it's called I Code This website, and you basically work on becoming a better coder, submit coding challenges, things like that, if I remember right. So, hello. Check him out. Oh, wow. I don't know how Carlos did that. I have to really learn learn how this works. Okay, so let's go back to my magic trick. And for those who are new watching, so the magic trick that was involved here had to do with changing the color of this deck of cards. And somebody already pointed out that the way I'm changing the color has to do with me pressing some button also, or clicking on something with my left hand before doing it. So also people started talking about me using JavaScript for doing it, and doing some color changing, detecting starting color and then moving those pixels to some other color. And all of those are very good ideas and very good hints. And I've been pretty much, it has been pretty much explained how I'm doing this. But yeah, anybody still has anything else to add? uh, which language I prefer? It's wait, I missed somebody. Uh, basic. Somebody has done basic design and structures of algorithms. Able to code. Unable to create projects. Yeah, well, it's a very big difference between knowing algorithms and data structures and knowing software engineering. So software engineering is really more about being able to work on big projects and about being able to work in a team so that other people work on something and you work on something else. Large projects are rarely done by one person nowadays, so this teamwork is a must that you have to understand. And you also get help when you work as a team, because a very common technique is this pair programming, where somebody's behind you and like a backseat driver teaching you how to code this and that. So really the problem is you need to start to work on larger projects. Maybe find some open source ones that you can contribute to. If you watch the channel, you can take some of my bigger projects like the self-driving car or the drawing recognizer and try to do extra things on that. At least the one with the from the machine learning course, I gave very many homework exercises for that one. And some of them were done in phase 2 by different people, but some of them were left undone. So that's something that could be definitely expanded on. So this course, this machine learning course, I think this is the starting video there. So working on bigger projects, not necessarily mine. And I think the best thing is to work on a project that you want to build. So find out some idea that you really want to do and then progress. Because if you really want to get it done, not just because you're following somebody's advice or whatever, then when you hit an obstacle, you're likely to not give up and just continue to find solutions for it. Which language I prefer, JavaScript or Python? It really depends. I mean, I don't like JavaScript that much. It's very funny that many people think I do, and many people also think that I teach JavaScript, and I do teach JavaScript related things here on the channel because we need it. It's a language that we use to do the different things that we do. But really the main reason I'm using it is because I'm making websites with it, and I can share the things as links to different people, and they don't need to install anything when they run the things that I'm sharing, and you don't need any tools to code it. Like you could go to CodePen or something like that and start writing code in the browser and make different projects, or you just need a code editor on your computer, and if you open the resulting HTML file, you have a browser already, otherwise you couldn't be watching this. Or maybe you watch on your phone app, or I don't know. But basically, I don't need to explain how to set things up and how to run things, and sending things doesn't require an install, and that's why I'm using it. It's also really good at visualizing things because it's web pages, web technologies, so they have an interface. But if I think about the syntax, you can do things much faster, some things much faster in Python. And of course, if you want to do data analytics, if you want to analyze data, if you want to do machine learning related things, then it has so many libraries, so many packages with so many parameters that I didn't even show 0.5% of them of how those techniques work. Not even maybe 0.1% is what I've shown from what it's possible to do with machine learning. Maybe not even that, I don't know. But of course, in Python, you have so much support for those things that you basically write a few lines of code and it does it for you. And it could be such an advanced model that you don't even know fully how it works. And you can switch to other models from different types of approaches very easily. So, of course, if you're interested in those topics, then Python is better, and I prefer it if I want to really optimize something very well. And you might know that I have used Python in some courses just to show you how to do this and that. Like in the machine learning course, I used it to optimize the neural network faster, because the trial and error based approach with the genetic algorithm from the self-driving car course, it just doesn't work when your weights become so many. And I needed that gradient descent method, this backpropagation, and I had that in a library in Python that I wanted to use. Could have probably used also JavaScript libraries for it, but I wanted to show also that training the model just gives you some weights, biases, some values there, and you can take them and use them in another programming language, which is also something that people tend to confuse. Like really all the techniques are language independent, but the fact that doing something in one language is faster than another is a fact. Sure, JavaScript is a good choice for design data structures and algorithms. You can practice them. You can practice building data structures, implementing algorithms from scratch. The only problem with it is that it's relatively slow compared to some other programming languages. It has garbage collection, so if you're going to do something like profiling the algorithms, trying them on different data, and doing some empirical analysis, these things might interfere in unexpected ways. So your algorithm might have some weird spike at the moment that the garbage collection starts, or whatever. So really, if you do algorithm analysis and you want to do it closely, I recommend something that doesn't have that feature. So C. But of course you can implement them and you can try them, and Um, JavaScript nowadays works on front end, back end, mobile, everywhere. So it's a good language to know if you think about the work opportunities. And practicing those things in it, it's fine. Just don't implement very, very complex algorithms that require a lot of uh, computational power on it. Usually it's a waste of resources. Um, I'm not sure which question I should answer. Okay. Um, Not really. Okay, so I think that soon I will have to end, maybe in 10 minutes. So wrapping up, really. Uh, I don't know about these last questions. So how is that car learning? It's not learning. It's the one here has already learned what to do because we trained it in different ways in the courses, and now it's just doing what it has learned. And if you have to learn about building projects, I think I said that already. So just figure out what project you want to build and start building it, and that's the best way to learn. You can follow tutorials, but mm, those typically just teach you how to build a specific thing. And if you just do that, you learn how to reproduce that one specific thing. So it's maybe not enough if you want to become a software engineer. You really need to struggle by yourself, and when you're stuck on something, figure out what to do and not just watch what the guy in the tutorial is doing. So it's a different thing. Yeah. Okay. So, I think that we'll get I will get ready to end soon because I have some other meetings coming up, and it's quite busy now at the end of the academic year. Um, but yeah, let's go back to the magic trick. And all right, so it's like what most of you have already said. There is some color changing happening there. And actually, if you look at it, when I press the R key on my keyboard, it's going to be 2 seconds after I press it. So 1, 2, then it changes color. And then if I press G, and again after 2 seconds, it goes to green. And if I press B, it goes back to blue. And the original color is actually blue. And the other deck here was just like somehow confuse you that maybe I do some sleight of hand or some trick like that. But really, only the blue colors are changing whenever I press the keyboard like this. So this is how it works. And I actually wanted to do much more crazy things with this, but it's something I coded this morning, really. And it's not that great, but it's not bad either. And I do have also an idea for maybe 5 to 10 different magic tricks that you could implement in JavaScript. And I got this idea because when Corona started, Um, I remember I was still working at the University of Eastern Finland back then, and we were all in a Teams meeting, a big Teams meeting. And at the end of this meeting, it was some kind of special event. We had a magic show. We had a magic show happening on Teams. And what the person was doing was really nice. There were many nice tricks there, but they were all really sleight of hand or gimmicks. And then I thought, if this new world now accepts magic tricks being done over camera so easily, uh, how about using some kind of coding to make some magic tricks that haven't existed before? And this color change is a classic. I mean, doing sleight of hand color changes, it's something really common if you think about magic and what magicians do. But of course, they move those things in some a little bit weird way, and you maybe think about it like uh, there must have been a trick, like a hidden card somewhere there. And now I could show you that no, there's no hidden card. Look, I just hold this one and my hand is free, and then I pressed B, and then I counted 1, 2, and then, oh, wait, I didn't press B. Good that my previous, oh, wait, I'm holding the red one. Yeah. So now it's red. So at least this didn't happen before when I did the actual show. But it's kind of a new thing. I mean, of course, there is many tricks done with cameras now, and so many apps on your phone that do crazy stuff like detect your face, but there's some bunny ears or whatever. Um, But if you think about magic, I don't know. Are there specialized software for doing magic? And if they're not, then, well, this one now that I'm showing you is one. So, yeah. I don't share the code because I want to make uh, a tutorial series at some point about these magic things. So, I want to do many things, like maybe make stuff disappear, make stuff change color, maybe make half the stuff change color, or I don't know. I'm still thinking about how to implement these and what I want to show you, but I will teach it eventually. No device connected to that card. Signature recognition. I think you already know how to do it if you watch the machine learning course. WebGL, 3D math. I have some WebGL projects. I mean, I have some 3JS projects, but very few, maybe 2 or 3, and very basic and old ones. So I don't want to teach it because in this 3D world, there are so many other things that you need to talk about, like how triangulation works, how cameras are positioned, lighting, how that reflects, how rendering happens. And those are topics that I don't want to get into. I just like to teach how some things work. And if I would do a simple project like that, I have to somehow explain all the other inner working things there. So maybe I'm not going to do it anytime soon, but sometimes I will. Hmm. Yeah, Python, Django, I don't know. Let's see. Um, I might make something with Python at some point, but I also like the idea of having one language in the same way that I don't make videos speaking Romanian, for example. It's not because I don't want to, it's just because what will happen to everybody who doesn't speak Romanian? So same thing here. Like if I have some kind of audience now that watches the JavaScript tutorials and then I start doing a different language, same thing really. It's just the language that I change for some reason. And I want to have some consistency here. It's not about liking one language more than another. It's about just, I don't know. Maybe I should change this idea. Okay, so I think this is it. Thanks for asking questions. I hope that the answers what you were looking for. There were very few about these neural networks, and I don't know if I really understood the questions well, but I tried. And yeah, so videos will resume in the next weeks and just normal stuff. I think that in July, August, I'm going to start to code live some projects. I really want to make a kind of drawing application that would be a big project. So something like Photoshop or Illustrator or a combination of them, or I don't know if I go into animations or not, but I really want to make a project like that that works on the web and is fast and reliable and has all the features that I use. Because I always switch projects, switch programs. Like I always switch from Photoshop to Illustrator to PowerPoint sometimes, just because they have some things that are faster to do than other things. And I would like one software that has all the things that I use. And I also like to teach how those things are implemented, how they work. I would like to combine raster and vector functionalities in one tool set there, which doesn't really work well in practice. Like not many software do that successfully. I think PowerPoint actually comes closest. Like you can draw shapes, different things there, and you can also add images and change their colors and remove backgrounds and things like that. So it's quite quite a powerful tool, really. Yeah, I said the signature recognition. I don't make it because it's already in the drawing recognition, basically. So that course I have on machine learning teaches you how to make drawing recognition, and a signature is just a type of drawing, and the same techniques would work. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I think that that's everything. Thank you everyone for watching and have a nice summer and see you around. Hope that maybe if I do start that project, that bigger project, it will be more of a interactive experience. So I will code during the live stream, so I can't check the comments that often, but maybe I take half an hour breaks and then I look at what was said. But also at the end, after I finish coding for 1 week or something, like I will code every week, every other week or something like this, then I'm gonna put the project on GitHub and you have the chance to look at it and propose updates, and then maybe I'm going to talk about your updates and accept them in the next day. So something like that. So let's see how that kind of format will go. If it's interesting, at least it should teach more about this project building, what some of you were talking about. So just trying and seeing how things happen. Okay, so see you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.